You know, when we think of big Hollywood films that have revealed behind the sort of red velvet curtain of Hollywood, we really do think of one movie, Sunset Boulevard, directed beautifully, of course, by the late Billy Wilder. It was interesting, as I said, when I met Billy many years ago, he said that when he came out of one of the movie screenings, Louis B. Mayer came up to him and said, "You've ruined it. You've taken people behind the scenes. You've shown them the problems that people have, living life in Hollywood. And this will never return to norm." Of course, when you look at like Sunset Boulevard now, you kind of almost see it as a docudrama, don't you? Because there you have this mad movie queen planning a comeback. But isn't really that a lot like reality TV today? The sort of thing that we all get hooked on, primetime TV, whatever you want to call it. But way back in the late 1950s, according to one of my many long interviews, Kirk Douglas had big plans actually over here in the United Kingdom to turn one of his earlier hits, The Bad and the Beautiful, to bring it to the West End stage. But what went wrong? As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Lovely to have your company. When I mentioned Sunset Boulevard, a lot of people also don't know that long before Andrew Lloyd Webber, there was going to be Sunset Boulevard the musical, all thanks to its original star. That's right, Gloria Swanson. Music was commissioned, everything. But apparently she couldn't get the backing. People didn't believe people would want to go and see a musical about a faded movie star. Way back in 1952, though, Kirk Douglas, under the direction of Vincente Minnelli, starred in a movie alongside the blonde bombshell that was Lana Turner. And a lot of people said to them, apparently, according to Mickey Rooney as ever, that you shouldn't be in this movie because it won't be good for your career. It's a follow-on from Sunset Boulevard. People will think we're all nuts. Of course, it shows the highs and lows of the Hollywood glamour. But the bottom line is the movie became a smash. The Beautiful is a 1952 an American melodrama that tells the story of a film producer who alienates everyone around him. As I say, the film was directed by Vincente Minnelli, written by George Bradshaw, and starred Lana Turner, Kirk Douglas, Walter Pidgeon, Dick Powell, Barry Sullivan, Gloria Gaynor, and the movie starred Lana Turner, Kirk Douglas, Walter Pidgeon, Dick Powell, Gloria Graham, and Gilbert Rowland. The Bad and the Beautiful won 5 Academy Awards out of 6. What's interesting though about The Bad and the Beautiful, as I say, in August 1958, Kirk Douglas arrived in London to make a movie, an English movie, but he was also looking for backers to turn this into a West End, play, perhaps even a musical, but initially a play. One of the people he had in mind to star in this play, and the thing that he was turning and saying to backers, was none other than the original MGM king himself, Clark Gable, who'd expressed an interest in returning to the stage under the direction of Kirk Douglas. Then, of course, they were looking for who could take on the blonde role, somebody who might want to play this particular part that had been played so well on the London stage. Lana Turner wasn't too keen. At that point, she wasn't ready to return, so they were going to scout around. Sadly though, this never truly came off, and when you look at the documents and the records which you can find, it is fascinating to think that even if somebody's power, like Kirk Douglas, he simply couldn't get it pushed through, even though he had these names attached. Apparently people said, would Clark Gable really show up 6 nights a week to appear on the London stage for this salary? Remember, theatre salaries are a lot less than movie salaries. But apparently Gable wanted to reinvent himself and, of course, still do things like comedy alongside people like Doris Day and Teacher Spett. Sadly for Kirk, he couldn't get the backing, and all of that, sadly, was put on the back burner. Wouldn't that have been a fascinating night at the theatre though? Directed and possibly even starring Kirk Douglas alongside Clark Gable of a movie that really was an epic of its time. As ever, do like and share and let me know what you think in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.